That's a gay ass podcast.
What? That's a gay ass podcast. What? A really, really, really gay podcast that we call That's a Gay Ass Podcast.
That's a gay ass name for a gay ass podcast.
Chris Patterson-Rosso, otherwise known as CPR, is what? Giving us life. Chris, I'm so happy to talk to you on That's a Gay Ass Podcast, but question one, are you having a slutty week or has it been boring and straight?
It has been boring and straight, unfortunately. Yeah. And that's okay. It's what I need.
Sometimes.
Because we had
need
2
that.
weeks of Halloween, and one of those I was in P-Town for Spooky Bear. And so you know what I mean?
Oh my God, Halloween I feel like is a long national nightmare. And especially this year, it really felt like it was really high drive. When you were in P-Town, tell me, were you there as a performer? Were you there? Actually, before I even ask you that, the listeners need to know what a star you are. For anybody who does not know, Chris is not only a model, a dancer. You also are the co-host of Sniffy's Cruising Confessions with a gorgeous past guest of this podcast. When you were in Spooky Bear in P-Town, were you there as someone, as a civilian or as a professional?
As a professional, I do a show called Burlesque, which I've been doing for a little bit over a year, and they brought us up to Crown and Anchor, and so we did a show up there, and then we were dancing at like Fat Slut with Meatball.
Yes.
It was like a whole weekend of events, but when I was finished working, and I got the call for the afters,
You went to the afters.
I picked up. It was also a block away from where I was staying, so I was like, how do I say no? You know?
I love a gay, walkable, slutty town.
Oh my God. Because if it's bad, I just get to go home.
Honestly, that's part of the reason why living in a city is such a gift. And I know that there are gifts to also living in a suburban moment. I love to drive to a big box store, but sometimes if you can leave a function and then walk to your literal bed, that is privilege. That is, there's a certain je ne sais quoi to that.
There is.
When you were doing Burlesque, Lockie is the person who leads that, right?
Director, choreographer, producer.
I haven't seen the full show in person, but all the clips I've seen, it's like, I don't know. I think there's something so amazing about harnessing the sexuality of a gay ass dancer and then giving the girls what they want. Do you show full genital, or is it like what's happening in Burlesque?
Not intentionally. I'll say that.
Oops, I slipped. You're full.
We like to leave them wanting more, right? I think we're towing that line of like sexy and sensuality and you know what I mean? Because I think there's a lot of places where we can get the full experience.
Oh my God.
There's no shortage of that. And so
you bring a good point up, because let me tell you something. When I am on, for example, the application called Sniffies, and sometimes when you see the full picture, obviously it's great, but sometimes when you can only see a part of the guy, you fill in the blanks, and it's almost hotter than having seen the full image. So I feel like with Burlesque, it's the same idea.
Exactly. And also we're dancing down. Like we are giving you full choreography moments. Right now we're in our like holiday season, so it's campy, it's fun. We've got an amazing host, Philip Von Awesome, who's a lovely host.
Shout out. Well, listen, this is what I want to get into with you, because I'm two things. I am a theater queen and a big slut, so I love to kind of talk about both of those things. So I will talk about what went down at the afters in P-Town. I will get into what you get up to in your extracurriculars, but before that, why are you such a good dancer? Were you like a Broadway baby growing up? Were you like, where does the training come from? What's the story?
I went to a performing arts high school in Portland, Oregon. I grew up on the West Coast. And so I was a part of an organization called Jefferson Dancers. It's a nonprofit, pre-professional dance company that's run out of the high school. And I wanted to be a ballet dancer. And so I spent my high school years training to be a ballet dancer.
Wow.
And then I moved to New York. And then I trained at the Ailey School, and I got my first professional job with a touring company in 2004, 6 weeks after I moved here. and I worked with them for about 5 years,
Were you
and that's sort of
11?
like no,
Can I ask how old you are now?
I'm 40.
Wow, incredible
Hmm.
work. I mean, 2004 is a long, I mean, that's 20 years ago.
21 years ago. Uh-huh.
You had your first professional gig. You're
Hmm.
touring. At that point, were you, I'm hoping, out of the closet, or what was your,
Oh yeah, no, I
okay,
was very gay, very open.
God bless.
I was doing a lot of things at 19.
I'm sure, especially when you're touring with like a world-class organization like
Yeah.
Ailey.
So I was dancing for a company called Momix. I went to school at Ailey, but I was dancing for a
Gotcha.
company. Do you know Momix? A lot of people don't
I've
know who they are,
heard
but
of it.
they're
I've heard of
yeah.
it. I love that you have the ballet dreams. You moved to New York as a very, I mean, 18, 19 is
Hmm.
very young. What was your journey then getting back to New York from tour? And what is the life of a ballet dancer like, especially pursuing, I mean, it's obviously such an athletic career, A, but B, I'm sure it's just as cutthroat, if not more cutthroat than the bitches trying to get on Broadway.
Yeah, I was actually really lucky with this job that I got dancing for Momix. We'd be out of the country between 3, 6, sometimes 9 months out of the year.
Oh
Um,
shit.
yeah, just going from city to city across Europe, South America, Asia.
What an amazing experience for a young person, especially for, I would say,
It
a young
was
queer person
ideal.
who's like, we have such limiting beliefs, I think, I'm sure all around the world as young queer people, but when you get to actually see different ways people live, do you have any highlights from like either a country you visited and like you got dicked down in the ways you never thought you could, or just like a formative experience of realizing what life is like outside of the US? What any memories come up?
There's a few things, right? So I'll start with we were in Madrid in the winter of I want to say 2006, and we were there for 6 weeks. And I had been messaging this person on Gaydar for just like I'm gonna be in Madrid, da, 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 and we were like gonna hook up, and he messages me the day that we're gonna hook up. He was like, unfortunately, I've come down with like syphilis or something, and I'm unable to hook up. But I have a friend who's visiting, and I'm gonna send him your way. And I was like, okay.
Community, babe.
It happens to be one of my favorite porn stars ever.
Is it Francois Saga? Who is it?
It wasn't. Do you know Henry Luis?
No, but he sounds gorgeous.
Yeah, he is a Brazilian model, really big in the early 2000s. He kind of has a concave chest.
Oh,
Um, anyway, he was gorgeous. Anyway, he sends him over, and we spent a lovely 6 hours together.
with a Brazilian porn star in Madrid. What
Yeah,
a
that
gorgeous
like
Mad
I
Lib.
just like, and I was like, thank you so much for sending him. Like that was such a dream. And then I also got to spend New Year's Eve at the Eagle there, which was lovely. First
Do
time
you know
seeing
what's
fisting in public.
Oh, wait, your first time doing it in
Seeing
public?
fist,
Oh,
no,
seeing it.
yeah, like I just was like, I'd never been to anything like that before. I'd never been to the Eagle here in New York.
Yeah.
And so like someone took me there, and like we walk in, the coat check person sucking my dick almost immediately. Just like, and I was like, all right, this is how we're ringing in the new year. I'm obsessed.
It's no wonder that you got hired to be one of the co-hosts of Sniffy's Cruising Confessions because you have been putting in the work, the hours
For
even.
decades.
Decades. But honestly, what I really am hearing from you that's so cool is that you have been living a life without shame since you were a teenager. Like
Well, it's interesting that you say that because there was a lot of shame. And I think, I'm very open about my drug use.
yeah.
I'm sober now, but like a lot of my drug use was fueled by the shame that I was experiencing around the sexual things that I was into. Because
Yeah.
like I was also young and in my 20s, and like folks in my 20s weren't engaging in the type of sex that I was enjoying. And
Yeah.
so I felt bad, and like, I felt like a deviant, in a lot of ways. And being black and queer, it just like it was a lot of it was compounding. And so
Well, there's so many
um
layers, I think, especially like if we go to when you're growing up in Portland, I
mhm.
imagine that a lot of Portland is giving liberal progressive energy, but I'm sure there's also a lot of like what whiteness, a lot of like
Yeah,
heteronormativity in many
yeah,
ways. Is that where you
exactly.
think a lot of the shame came from?
For sure. And also just growing up in a black family and having a very rigid single mom, you know,
Mm,
um, her ideas around the way that I should behave and grow up and show up in the world were very different than how I was showing up in the world, you
damn, that's really
know?
well said though, because I think that a lot of us had parents who put those expectations on their kids, not out of malice. It's not
Hmm.
because they want us to like hide ourselves, but it's probably out of what protection. It's
Exactly.
their own safety of like
Exactly.
if their children reflect them, that means that they have done a good job. Because you know something that I've come up against as an adult. I'm 36, and it's really taken me until the last year to realize that my family, my siblings, my parents, my community growing up, like all that my family wanted was of course to like exist and take care of each other and love each other. But
Hmm.
a good intention does not always equal a good execution. And so or a
Correct.
good feeling. And so while
Correct.
I was told one thing I've talked about is I was told growing up because I was being made fun of for being gay and it really, and I was very closeted and it really fucked with me. Um I would have said to me, just because people say that you are gay does not mean that you are. And what the message they were trying to say
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
you're a good girl, like, it's all gravy. But the actual message underneath that is, we hope you are not gay. And of
Hmm.
course, the whole time I knew that I was and
Hmm.
felt like I was, rejecting myself and being rejected again. But the intentions of your mom, I think, were probably to protect you, but that doesn't still heal the wound of I am
Hmm.
acting in a way that they are not either proud of or accepting
Hmm.
of.
Even though I'm told that I'm loved and accepted, right? Like it's sort of this weird, ah,
It's very confusing for especially a
yeah.
young queer person, but the fact that you were able to like get to New York and then make your dreams come true in so many ways. When did you get sober?
2015.
Wow. So you
Yeah.
have now 10 years of sobriety, so mazel tov to
Yeah.
you and yours. That is
Thank
incredible.
you.
Would you
Thank
say that
you.
your sex life feels a lot different as a sober person versus when you were using?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. All the sex I'm having today is intentional. All the
And
sex I'm having today is r- grounded in connection, even in a dark room, right?
mm,
Like, and that's just completely different. You know, I'm having sex because I want to with people that I want to.
explain intentional hookups in a dark room. I fully co-sign it, but I want to know like you get into I'm actually new to the dark room experience. I haven't really done it at
Ooh.
all. So I
Oh.
went to my first circuit party over speaking of Halloween, I went to my first circuit
Uh-huh.
party over Halloween. I really enjoyed it, but I was very much a part of the like I was an observational queen.
Yeah.
So you get into the dark room. What does a
Yeah.
person who's really trying to have intentional hookups and really just like feel good about it is what's the sort of like process you go through to do that?
For me, I'm never just picking up someone in the dark room in the dark. We are meeting outside of that space.
Yes.
We are going into that space together. We do what we need to, and then we either leave together or I like run into someone else. I always am running into people in the dark room that I know. I'll just say.
I love that.
And so there's always a connection first. And
What happens if
then
you run into somebody in the dark room that you have zero sexual tension with? You're just sisters. What is it? Does shame come up in that scenario, or is it just like no?
not for me.
Yeah.
I do know um I find that my I'm a lot more cool about these things than a lot of people in my life. I do have some folks that like if they see me in the dark room, they start to freak out. And I'm like,
Oh,
girl, you're fine. Like, go get yours. Please go get yours.
we're all
How
in
can I
here.
help?
Yeah, 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 yeah. How can I be of
How can I
service?
support you in this process? You know?
I get that, but again, it's like it's the whole idea I think of people I talk to when it comes to, like, let's say going to either a bathhouse or going to a dark room, whatever it is,
Hmm.
there is a lot of people have this feeling of, but what if I see somebody I know? And I
Yeah.
completely understand that, but I think it's so baked into, again, the idea of, like, it is embarrassing for us to express our need or want for pleasure.
Hmm.
It's, I we have this couples therapist that I keep bringing up because it's my first time having a gay therapist who really brings our queerness into the conversation.
Work.
And we were talking about how Matt and I navigate our open relationship. And there was some way that I phrased something that he was saying that it felt like it was almost like a secret or something that we needed to feel guilty about. And I didn't even realize I was
Hmm.
doing it. It's hard not to maintain the feeling of, like you said, like we are doing something that is deplorable, that is
Hmm.
gross, that is
Hmm.
wrong, but it's like it's really hard to fucking unlearn the stuff that we were told. But it seems that you are so intentional with all the ways that you move through the world sexually and otherwise, and it's kind of interesting to see it mirrored back to you in people that haven't done that work. And so it's like we get to
Yes.
meet people where they are.
Yeah. But I love that. I love because what then ends up happening is I get a text message after the fact. Or like, hey, how do you do this? I'm really
Mm,
struggling. I love the way that you're showing up. What did
mm.
you do? What steps did you take? Right. And I'm like, baby, let me be a vessel.
Well, let's
Let
actually.
me
I before we the paywall's about to go up, and so that's when I get into the really horny, licious
work.
questions. But before my final question before that is, do you have any advice for people, or maybe just can you speak to your personal experience of, like,
Mm.
was there like therapy? Was there just real world application? Was there a person? Was there something that helped you put down the walls of I should be embarrassed about this?
It was all of those things.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful that I have a sober community around me, especially specifically Crystal Meth Anonymous,
Mm,
because sex and crystal meth are usually very tied together.
yeah.
And for me, they
Yeah.
were. And so being in those spaces and being able to talk to other people who are able to engage in the types of sex that I like to have as a sober person was really, really important. So just getting to talk to them about what their experience is. How
Yeah.
did you do it? How do you do it? And just continue to have those conversations, going out and failing. Getting overwhelmed, saying the wrong thing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and just being okay
Mm.
with and understanding that this is all a learning process, and I know what I want, right? Like that's up here. I know what I want,
Oh
and I
my
just need to
God.
keep pushing towards that thing, and hopefully, and having faith and trust that I'm going to get there. And honestly, I mean, it's taken me a long time, but I'm here and connecting with like-minded people. Like I
Yeah.
have some. Oh, some of my best girlfriends, the things we text each other.
The beauty of a chat, the beauty of a
Yeah.
private text message. I don't want us to gloss over the thing you said about allowing ourselves to go out there and fail, because
Hmm.
I very much deal with the affliction of perfectionism and people pleasing. And when it comes to going out to take a risk, and it truly can
Hmm.
be not only about like a hookup, it can be about something creative. I've talked about with this podcast when I first put it out, I was on like the edge of the cliff of just like emotionally, I felt like I was on the verge of exploding, because
Hmm.
in my mind, if I failed, then that meant that the world would explode and that I would never recover. But you
And where's
hear
my value and where's my worth links to those two things.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
listen to this. You CPR, go out there. Let's say you quote unquote fail, but guess what? Your worth and your value are still there. And I think
Yeah.
that we don't. I was not taught that, and I still have to remind myself that basically every day. So I think that it's
Hmm.
a really like great reminder that you can apply to many many different parts of your life. But like if you don't take the risk or don't allow yourself to fail, you will be in the same emotional state that you are in currently. And for me, for many years, I was doing that. I was like really
Hmm.
frustrated and feeling contained and small, and failing, the potential to fail is deeply scary, but like I'm learning that unfortunately it's worth the uncomfortability
Yeah.
versus feeling safe but also stuck.
Yeah.
um
That discomfort is so temporary.
So temporary, but it
It is
feels
so
forever. It
temporary
feels forever.
because what happens is you have that discomfort, but you also, I'm like, oh, what lessons did I learn here? Right. And I love to learn, right? I'm one of these people, I'm like a sponge. I
Yeah.
love getting new information, new knowledge. And when I'm stuck in the same cycle, I'm not learning. And so I have to push myself. Woo, woo, woo. It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable still, but I have to do it if I want to continue to learn, you know?
Amen to that. And I encourage everybody listening too. And like, if there's, it could be the tiniest thing, but it's like
Hmm.
going to a fucking party by yourself. If that's something you would never do, allow yourself to do it and figure out, okay, what can I do to sort of calm my nervous system or feel like
Hmm.
I'm giving myself that support. But I do think that it's interesting when we get to the horny questions of it all to see how you have grown in this journey. So we're going to get into some of the sluttiest questions I have. Since I am a hard-hitting journalist, you were in
Hmm.
P-Town, you finished Burlesque, you get off
Hmm.
stage, you're invited to the afters. What
Yes.
sort of sluttery did you get down to?
I'm just like replaying in the evening
Oh,
in my head.
oh, and I'm right there with you. I don't even know what it was, but it feels delicious.
So I had initially planned on hooking up with this couple.
For the rest of this interview, head to Substack, linked in the description. You can also watch bonus episodes with Mikey Graceffa from Death Becomes Her, Isaiah Rutledge, Sunset Boulevard's G-Min Moon. We have Derek Cage, Patrick, Nick, Thanos, Mark. They're all hot. The stories are amazing, and you should go check it out at substack.com/@EricWills, linked in the description. I love you. Bye.